Taylor Guitars, A Legacy of Innovation, Part 1. The sound of an acoustic guitar can stop you in your tracks. That bright, clear tone that seems to shimmer in the air. Chances are, if you've heard that distinctive sound in the last 50 years, you might have been listening to a Taylor guitar. But how did a company started by two teenagers in a small San Diego shop become one of the most respected guitar makers in the world? This is the story of Taylor Guitars, a journey of innovation, perseverance, and an unwavering commitment to the craft. Our story begins in 1974, in the Southern California beach town of Lemon Grove. Bob Taylor was just 19 years old, working at a small guitar shop called the American Dream. The shop was run by Sam Ratting, and Bob had become skilled at guitar repair and building. Working alongside him was Kurt Leastug, who handled the business side of operations. When Ratting decided to sell the American Dream, Bob and Kurt saw an opportunity that would change their lives forever. With almost no money between them, the two young men bought the shop for $3,500. Actually, they bought it for the grand total of $3,500 split three ways with a third partner, Steve Schemmer. They didn't have cash, so they paid in installments of just $50 a month. It was 1974, and the American Dream had a new generation of dreamers at the helm. They renamed the company after themselves, Leastug, Taylor, and Schemmer Guitars. It wasn't exactly catchy. Eventually, they simplified it to Taylor Guitars, the name that would become synonymous with acoustic excellence. The early years were anything but glamorous. Bob Taylor and Kurt Leastug were working out of a cramped shop with outdated equipment and minimal resources. They were building guitars one at a time, entirely by hand, competing against established giants like Martin and Gibson who had been crafting instruments for over a century. The odds seemed impossible. But Bob Taylor had something those big companies didn't have at the time, a willingness to completely rethink how guitars were made. Traditional guitar building was steeped in mystique and old-world techniques. Bob approached it like an engineer. He studied the physics of sound, experimented with new construction methods, and wasn't afraid to use modern technology. While other builders guarded their secrets, Bob was figuring out how to make guitars more consistently, with better quality control. Kurt Leastug, meanwhile, was keeping the business afloat. He handled sales, marketing, and all the unglamorous work of running a small company. The partnership was perfect. Bob was the craftsman and innovator, Kurt was the businessman and strategist. Together, they slowly built a reputation for quality instruments that players could actually afford. By the early 1980s, things were starting to change. Taylor guitars were gaining attention for their playability and tone. The necks were straighter than competitors, staying in adjustment longer. The action was lower, making them easier to play. Professional musicians started to take notice. The real turning point came with Bob Taylor's revolutionary approach to guitar neck construction. Traditional acoustic guitars used a technique where the neck was glued into the body, a method that had been used for centuries. But this created problems. If the neck angle needed adjustment or repair, it meant expensive, risky surgery on the instrument. Bob Taylor invented something different: the bolt-on neck. Now, before you recoil in horror, this wasn't like the bolt-on necks of electric guitars. This was an incredibly precise system that allowed the neck to be removed and adjusted without damaging the guitar. It was controversial. Purists said it would ruin the tone. But Bob proved them wrong. The system actually improved stability and made repairs simple. It was pure Taylor, practical innovation that served the player. The company also pioneered the use of computer-controlled cutting machines in acoustic guitar production. Again, purists balked. Wasn't guitar making supposed to be about hand tools and craftsmanship? But Taylor understood something crucial. Machines could do repetitive precision work better than human hands, freeing skilled luthiers to focus on the aspects that truly required human expertise and artistry. The result was guitars that were more consistent and more reliable than ever before. Throughout the 1980s and into the 1990s, Taylor introduced model after model that pushed boundaries. The Grand Auditorium body shape became one of their most popular designs, offering a balanced tone that worked for everything from fingerstyle to strumming. By the mid-1990s, Taylor guitars had transformed from a scrappy underdog into a major force in the acoustic guitar world. Artists across every genre were playing Taylors on stage and in the studio. The company had moved into a large factory in El Cajon, California, where they were building thousands of guitars a year while maintaining exacting quality standards. But the story doesn't end with commercial success. Bob Taylor and Kurt Leestug were just getting started. The same innovative spirit that had driven them to reimagine guitar construction would soon lead them into unexpected territory: environmental stewardship, revolutionary new tonewood alternatives, and a complete rethinking of what a guitar company could be in the modern world. In Part 2, we'll explore how Taylor guitars tackled the sustainability crisis facing guitar makers, introduced game-changing innovations like the V-Class bracing system, and cemented their legacy as a company that never stopped evolving. The best was yet to come.